Hi, my name is Masume Wake, and today we're going to talk about self-tanners. How do they work? And what do we have to do to make sure that we get a nice, even tan? Self-tanning has become a major beauty step in the Western societies. With the awareness of the damaging effect of long exposure to the sun, people still want that bronze glowing look. So self-tanners have become a substitute that work effectively only if we follow certain steps to make sure that it doesn't turn into an orange glow. In our natural tan, the way it works, UVB rays from the sun triggers an enzyme that initiates a chain of reaction that produces more melanin in our dermis. And this is why you get that glowing look after sun exposure. Once made, melanin leaves the melanocyte cells and it gives you that dark glow that everybody loves. You have to keep in mind that melanin is a natural sun blocker as well. So people with darker skin, because they have increased melanin production, they automatically have some natural sun blockers. But people with the lighter skin, which don't have as many melanin, have to be aware that just because they self-tan, that doesn't mean that now they can go and expose themselves to. You still need to wear a sunscreen to block the damaging rays of the sun. The same chemical reaction that gives beard that dark brown look is what's happening with self-tanners. Self-tanning products contain a chemical that's called dihydroxyacetone. This is a sugar that when applied on the skin, along with some other modifiers, can modify the self-tanners. When it's applied on the skin, they react with the amino acids that are present in our skin layer. And as more and more of the DHA reacts with these amino acids, you get darker and darker looking skin. Just keep in mind that because of our genetic code, the protein composition that we have in our skin layer changes person to person. So as I mentioned, the fair looking skin is not going to react the same way as a darker looking skin. We have different amino acids on our skin depending on our genetic codes. But that also means that this reaction can produce yellow tones, orange tones. So formulators are quite sophisticated. They've gone a long way to make sure that the formulations are done in such a way you get the same results at the end of your self-tanning process. But now that we know the basics of how self-tanners work, let's dive into what are the key steps to make sure that you get an even looking tan and glow that you have in mind. Number one is the actual formulation that you're working with. You have to make sure that these formulations don't use excessive amount of fragrance to cover the base odor of the formulation. Some formulators use a lot of alcohol in order to achieve the fast reaction, fast evaporation on the skin. We want to stay away from those formulations because they can be skin sensitizers. Number two, and from my point of view, one of the most important steps is effective exfoliation. The dead cells that are sitting on the skin, if you have a patch of dead cells, those are going to be reacting a lot more without DHA than, say, the rest of the area that doesn't have as much dead skin. So you want to get rid of all the excessive dead cells and create an even canvas for your self-tanners to react. I find BOA to be the most effective because of the way it operates. It picks up the dead cells, rolls it away, you know what areas you're exfoliating, and it gives you an even canvas to operate with. Now there are other exfoliants that work equally well. Those are alpha hydroxy acids, beta hydroxy acids. The issue with them is twofold. One, is the fact that they can sensitize some of the skin. Some people with sensitive skin don't react to them too well. And the other thing is you don't really see where you're putting it. Now, a combination of BOA and the BHA, I think it works beautifully. The other important step is to make sure that you moisturize the dry areas so you have a nice even skin tone. Now, don't forget that there are certain areas like your underarm that doesn't get exposed to the sun, so obviously one application may not do it. You may want to dilute the self tanners with the moisturizer and reapply it so you make sure that you're getting an even tan. You want to go through one application. You don't want to keep reapplying it, because the more the skin gets exposed, the oranger it becomes. So you want to avoid reapplication, and you also want to make sure that your tanning process is the tanners are completely dried before you dive into a pool or take a shower. You just want to make sure that it's completely done. Otherwise, you're going to streak them or you're going to get it on your clothes. Don't forget, if you make a mistake, you still have BOA. You can exfoliate the overexposed area and get the even tone. And the most important thing, don't forget to apply your sunscreen, because self tanners don't give you any sun protection factor. Thank you.